Hi, I'm Abby Crotty. I'm here in the PhocusWire studio with John Lyotier from TravelAI. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, thank you.
So just to start off, I was wondering if you could give me a brief overview of TravelAI, its brands, and ongoing strategy.
Sure. So TravelAI presently operates about 475 consumer-facing brands. Many of the brands you probably would have been to, as most people have, and we kind of operate sort of quietly behind the scenes. So whether you're going to vacationcottage.com, whether you're going to rentbyowner.com, we acquired Kasai for short-term rentals and villas. So we have a lot of these consumer-facing brands, but really most of those brands are a bit of a Trojan horse to our big strategy, which is how do you deliver personalization at scale in the AI age.
Awesome. And so I know you have this long-term vision of the web of one. So what are the next steps working towards that? And to what extent can personalization help drive that?
Sure. To better understand the web of one, you have to know where we've come from. Like we saw Barry Diller speaking this morning, which is spectacular. And the early internet really was the web of 5 million, or basically if you're looking at how much inventory the booking.coms or the Airbnbs or the Verbos of the world have, they have the web of 5 million. Then it drops down to more and more personalization and granularity to the web of, say, 50,000 or 5,000. We have sites for people who love to play pickleball, Pickle Trip, and Pickle Trip is catering to people who want to stay at 20,000 properties around the world. The web of one goes back into the whole concept of can you create an experience, a web experience, where you have a personalization layer that is only delivering one website to one person. So it is your website, your experience. The next evolution of that is more or less the web of none, where the same information and same data and same content you would create to put in a website is available across any mediums. We have a Slack app coming out. So you basically can talk to the Slack app, much like you're getting all the content from a web experience into that Slack experience, or voice chats or whatever. So it's the same underlying data going to that level of personalization that is just for you in that environment.
Absolutely. And so you might have just touched on this a little bit, but what really still needs to happen in order to progress closer to that?
We think that the biggest thing, we're creating a concept, and we've circulated around conference attendees here, that we classify as a shared vector traveler protocol. And the best way to describe it from a lay understanding is we vectorize all the things from more of a technical standpoint, where we vectorize the traveler, we vectorize a property, we vectorize all these information. But in order for us as an industry to really start to get to the personalization that we need, we feel that we need to find a way to create a vertical-based memory. So if you are dealing with your Geminis, your Chat GPTs of the world, you have generalized memory. We want to be able to create a vertical memory that's deep into travel. That vertical memory, once you've created it, you need to be able to share it with others. So in a shared vector protocol, if I'm trying to share a traveler with you, or share it to traveler from us to booking.com as an example, how do we make sure that we can pass that traveler to them, privacy protecting way, making sure that all that stuff can happen. So that base infrastructure is still being built. And it's not just our infrastructure, there's infrastructure around the entire AI age, but all that layer we're still so early in that entire thing to truly get to that personalization that we all need.
Absolutely. And so I was wondering, speaking of your strategies and forward-looking statements, is there any update you can give us on TravelAI's buy and build strategy?
Oh, sure. This is a fun one. I guess probably the best way to understand that is we had a very successful business before called Left Travel. Left Travel did not survive the pandemic. We had a great thing going. Pandemic came along, wiped out the company. We took the step. I mortgaged my house. My wife was very patient. We sold crypto. We tapped into savings, and we ended up buying the business that went under back ourselves. So we bought our own business. So we had success in buying a business out of bankruptcy, and it worked out very, very well for us. We've done the same thing with several brands now. We acquired Kasai.com as a brand asset. Kasai was a very successful business, but we bought the assets back. We had a very good return in year one. We paid for the asset in basically about a month and a half of operations, and it had several million worth of revenue, all organic revenue coming into the brand. Did the same thing with Smart Tours. Smart Tours is off to the races. We basically got a site up and going on Smart Tours, which was a successful sort of New York-based package tour company. We got a brand up and going on that, but month one revenue is $250,000. So you start to look at the brand potential of these brands, and they're kind of limitless. And the primary reason, and some people here in the conference definitely have sort of been talking about it, is the power of LLM referral traffic. And if you start to understand how LLMs process and understand information, they're looking for brand signals. By going out and acquiring some of these assets, whether it's Smart Tours, whether it's Kasai, we have another announcement coming out very, very soon. We get to go and acquire these assets that have tens of thousands, millions of dollars of investment that's gone into them to develop the brand voice. And the LLMs love that. So we basically get to absorb all those brand signals, then launch a new asset on that. And it works very well for us. We instantly start to rank organically or through the LLMs for that same traffic.
Yeah, and so speaking to AI a little bit, considering the recent partnership announcements between, OpenAI and Booking and Expedia, do you have any predictions or thoughts on who may come out on top in terms of distribution? From an LLM standpoint, we play with all the models. I've been a passionate, loyal advocate of Google my entire life. My entire career has been based on the success that Google has done. I think rather than saying who's going to win in this space, it's probably better to look at it from the bigger picture that travel is soon to be a $15 trillion market. It's doubling every generation. And at the end of the day, if you are a travel provider, if you are an activities operator, if you're a hotelier, you will have more travelers. And if more travelers are traveling and traveling better, you will get more travelers. So if in this sort of battle back and forth of, are people going to be switching out of Google into OpenAI? Are they going to be, is the Booking or the Expedias of the world, which really are the vertical search engines, are they going to be disintermediated? There's more travelers coming to the market. So it's less about who's going to win, because all these tools are basically making the travel experience better, making it more efficient, and therefore more people will travel. And that's so I think it's less about. I feel like I'm avoiding the question here. It's not that I'm trying to avoid the question. It's just I think the person who's going to win is the traveler. And I think that across all of these different things, we'll use all the tools. I use all the tools myself. But even now, if I'm traveling for myself, I will book some things on Expedia. I'll book some things on Airbnb. We'll book some things on Vrbo. Book some things on Booking. I'll book some things direct. And it's not that I'm not booking those things. And I will do my research on Gemini. I will go back into Claude. You're just sort of circulating throughout this entire ecosystem. But at the end of the day, because when you have more choice and more opportunities, the traveler will win. So I think that's my avoiding answer, but not avoiding the answer by saying who will win, the traveler. No, absolutely. I was just thinking the increasing of choice, I'm sure, is a big advantage. And so kind of still talking about AI a bit, what have your recent experiences been with? Are there certain areas you can point to where it has been more successful or challenges that you faced?
From a personal passion thing, I've been playing around with the Google Flow model, creating videos. I'm not sure if you had a chance to create your own videos. Yeah. It's mind-blowingly real. I have a few special projects I've been working on. I don't know when this airs, so I won't talk about special projects, but I'll tell you off the air on those. But yes, I've been playing around with video generation models. I think some of the ability to create visual context in travel is a huge opportunity. We have a 5-pass model for image generation on our site, because it's very important for the traveler to see the visual rich medium that we're living in, because travel is a very visual medium. So if you can start to pass through to create real images of real places, but make the images better in matching the user intent, then everybody benefits from that. So we have a multi-pass strategy attached to that and can go into great details, but that probably bore your audience and no time for that. So we're doing a lot of playing around with different image models. It's constant experimentation. You have to be on the flight down here. Gemini 3 launched. I haven't played with Gemini 3 because I've been working the conference floor and such, but I can't wait to be hopping back on an airplane again to start playing with Gemini 3 again. So there's always new ones coming out.
Absolutely. And so TravelAI reported gross booking value of over $268 million in 2024. So I was wondering if you could share a bit about the company's metrics for 2025.
Sure. 2025 will be approximately double of that. So we're basically we've had a stretch goal to try to double every year. We will be very close. I'll see how the end of the year it comes out, but we'll probably be close to 500 million GBV this year.
And what's driving that, would you say?
Organic optimization or non-paid optimization, which includes LLM optimization, the ability to get in front of the consumer when they're searching for the massively long tail. We have across 450 different sites, we have a really long tail operation. We put ourselves in front of the consumer when they're looking for the right thing. And when they look for the right thing, we have a brand, and we can then send those high intent customers off to our customers, who are really the bookings and the Expedias of the world. And if we can start to deliver better customers to them, the commission gets better. And if you really look at the entire ecosystem, if you can start optimizing for those yes signals or those high value signals, you optimize for more yeses and less nos, but then you also optimize the lever of your average cart value, and your average goes up higher and higher and higher. I think our average cart value has increased by about 20% this year because you optimize for those higher value opportunities. So that's basically all where it comes from, but it's more travelers who are searching, we're getting in front of those right users.
Great. And so some more general questions,
Sure.
kind of just about your role. What would you say are the greatest challenges you face as a CEO?
I think the biggest challenge is modeling behavior to your employees. Like I was talking to a few people over the last few days about our use of AI as an organization. I use AI every day. I talk to my assistant in ChatGPT. We have conversations. She knows me, which is probably a perhaps scary thing attached to it. But the modeling behavior as a CEO, not just in use of the tools, but it's in the things that you don't choose to do. I just came back from an Italian vacation, and I learned the phrase, the sweetness of doing nothing. Basically, dolce far niente. Dolce far niente is the sweetness of doing nothing. The Italian whole concept of you sit there and you have an espresso and you relax and you do nothing. And as a CEO who's fast moving and growing, trying to do nothing is very hard. So if you're trying to model behavior to your team, how do you model behavior when you're doing nothing? Because doing nothing, you're doing something. You're recharging, you're resting, you're doing all those things that are necessary. So I have an incredible team. They're all fast charging. I have several of them here with me at the conference, and trying to get them to do nothing is a really hard thing to do. So I have to do nothing, because doing nothing is doing something, which is recharging and getting better. So that's probably the biggest challenge as CEO, is how to get your employees to do less. That sounds like horrific advice, but that's one of the big things I'm struggling with, because I have to do that myself. I have to do nothing occasionally in order to do something.
Absolutely. I understand what you mean there. And then as we wrap up, just kind of a catch-all question, or a more fun question. What do you know now in your professional career or, personal life that you wish you'd known 20 years ago?
What do I know now that I wish I knew 20 years ago? That it's all going to be okay. And if I look back on before the pandemic, it's where I'm traveling 60% of the year, and you're stressing about meeting payrolls, you're doing various things that attach to it. There's a large part of the things you're focused on that don't really matter. We have a philosophy in the company about focusing on the one thing. In measuring performance of the team, I don't say, what are your goals for the quarter? It's, what is your goal for the quarter? It can be measured on different things, but if you just achieve one thing, your quarter is a success. And because a lot of things, even when I focus on, most of the stuff doesn't matter. Barry Diller talking about going through and picking those one things and picking the moments to do those one things, and having the patience of sweetness of doing nothing to do that one thing. I know I've made decisions that I feel like I'm supposed to make a decision. So you make a decision, then you change your decision, then you go back, and you back and forth attached to it. But the reality is, you should do nothing and sit and wait and process, and then do that one thing at the right time. And I wish I did that way earlier in my career, because I didn't do that until now.
Well, it sounds like you've started to embrace that philosophy.
I have, yeah.
Yes, so that's great. Well, thank you very much for your time, and
my pleasure.
Great chatting with you.
Yeah, thank you.